welcome back to my channel. My name is Maham and I crochet cute things. Please don't skip the intro because I'm going to go over all the important things that you need to know before following the tutorial, as well as all the materials that you'll need for the back charms. Also, please ignore how scary I look right now. I'm getting ready for a Halloween party and the theme is dark and broody, so I might not look like what you guys are used to seeing me as. For all of the back charms, you can use any yarn and hook size. I recommend using a 4 to 4.5 millimeter hook. If you use a different yarn and hook size, then the size of your back charm will be different from mine. The exact yarn that I use, the exact brand and shade is linked on my Amazon storefront, and that is in the video description. And for all of the back charms, I used the same type of yarn and I used it with a 4 millimeter hook. I also highly recommend keeping the written pattern open for reference as you're following the tutorial so that you don't have to keep rewatching the video for any repetitive parts. You can just refer to the pattern. If you're a beginner, this is also really good practice for learning how to read patterns. You're also going to need some additional materials. You're going to need key rings, keychain if you want to turn your bag charm into a keychain using some of those. You'll need some stuffing for the bear, for the cherries, safety eyes for the bear. You can also embroider the eyes on, but it's completely up to you. A plastic needle for sewing and for hiding the ends. I would also recommend that you have a hot glue gun. This just makes it easy to glue pieces together. So for example, for the jam cookie, you can just glue it on rather than sewing each of the pieces individually. And I have all of these extra materials on my Amazon storefront as well. So if you can't find anything in your local craft store, you can just check out the Amazon storefront link. I have everything put there in the video description. I've got lots more cute back charms in a playlist in the video description. And if you're looking for more cute keychains, more unique crochet projects, and some amazing crochet classes, I'd love to introduce you to today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with classes on a wide variety of topics, including photography, craft, fine art, graphic design, illustration, and lots more. The platform also has a great selection of unique crochet classes. For example, you can crochet a plant cover out of plastic bags, create your own unique doll that looks like you, some charms that you can turn into keychains, for example, this adorable ice cream, this cute little octopus, and this really cute heart that I turned into this keychain. There's also an amazing crochet amigurumi class for beginners that I would recommend to all of you that are thinking of starting crocheting your own plushies. Also, if you're looking for ways to up-level your career or start a side hustle, Skillshare has classes in freelancing, entrepreneurship, marketing, social media, productivity, and more. The best part is that the first 500 people to use my link will get access to one of Skillshare's best offers, 30 days free and 40% off your first year of Skillshare membership. I highly recommend taking advantage of this amazing offer and starting your creative journey on Skillshare. You can check out some of my top picks of the week on the YouTube community page, explore some of my favorite classes, and try them out for yourself with this amazing offer. To make the jam cookie, we're going to start off by making a slip knot, and we're going to make the top layer of the cookie first. So I'm using brown for that. Go ahead and make a foundation chain of 19 chains. So that means that you're just going to chain 19, and make sure that you don't make these too tight but not too loose at the same time. So try to keep an even tension. Once you've got 19 chains, we're going to insert our hook into that very first chain that you did right over there. So that top loop of that first chain over there. And now we're going to slip stitch. So I'm just grabbing onto my yarn and pulling it through both the loops that are on my hook, like that. Now go ahead and chain one. We're going to go ahead by inserting our hook back through that same chain where you just inserted your hook to do that slip stitch. So go right back through that same loop. So that one over there. And we're going to insert one single crochet and then one half double crochet. That's your single crochet, yarn over, insert it back through that same chain, and this is your half double crochet. Now we're going to do 2 double crochets, one in each stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain. Make sure you're only going through the top loops and do a double crochet. And in the next chain, do one more double crochet. Only going through the top loop. In the next chain, you're going to do one double crochet and one half double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook in the next chain, do one double crochet, insert your hook back in that same chain, and do one half double crochet. In the next 2 stitches, we have to do 2 half double crochets. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, insert 2 half double crochets in that same chain, and repeat this into the next chain. So yarn over, insert your hook in the next chain, and put 2 half double crochets in that same chain. In the next stitch, we're going to do 1 half double crochet and 1 double crochet. So go into the next chain, you're doing 1 half double crochet and 1 double crochet in the same chain. Now we're going to do 1 double crochet, you're going to be working in these 3 chains over here. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into this first chain, then you're going to skip the middle one and go into your 3rd one, like that. So you skip the middle one, then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 of the loops, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2, and look at that, it's going to make this little point. To make the other side, we're just going to repeat what we did, but we're just going to flip it, so we're going to reverse it. Do 1 double crochet in the next chain. So repeating the same pattern, but in the other order. Now we're going to do 1 double crochet and 1 half double crochet in the same chain. Make sure to make your stitches a little bit tight so there aren't many holes in your work. Now the next 2 chains, we're insert 2 half double crochets in the same chain for the next 2 chains. So I did 2 half double crochets here. In the next chain, I'm also going to do 2 half double crochets in the same chain. On the next chain, we're going to do 1 half double crochet and 1 double crochet in the same chain. Now we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next 2 chains. So that's 1, and in the next chain, we're going to do another. We've got our very last chain left. You're going to do 1 half double crochet and 1 single crochet, just like what you did at the beginning. So 1 half double crochet, and in that same chain, 1 single crochet. Now to end this, we're just going to slip stitch. We're going to skip the single crochet and we're going to slip stitch into that very first half double crochet that we made, like that. To make my work even more secure, I'm also going to slip stitch into the next stitch. And I'm just going to stretch out my stitches so I get that nice little heart shape. That's what your work should look like. So I'm just going to get my scissor and cut, pull, and just tighten it. Then I'm going to weave this in with a plastic needle to hide it. Start off by making a magic ring. And chain 1. Now inside this magic ring, we're going to be inserting 13 double crochets. Chain 2. Now go ahead and insert your 13 double crochets inside the magic ring. That is 1, 2. I'm doing my last double crochet, so that's 13. And now we're just going to pull this in tighter to close it up. And you're going to have your chain 1, chain 2. So I want you to slip stitch into 1 loop of that second chain. So you did chain 1 and that's your chain 2. So go into it and slip stitch. That is going to be your first round. Now go ahead and pull the magic ring as tight as you can to hide that little center hole. To start our second round, we're going to chain 2. Now we're going to work into that very first double crochet. For round 2, the pattern is going to be 2 double crochets in every stitch. So in every stitch all the way around, you have to do 2 double crochets. So I did 1, I'm going to insert my hook back into that same stitch, and that's my second. Go ahead and repeat this all the way around, and at the end of this round, you should have done a total of 26 double crochets, 2 in every stitch. Once you've got 26 double crochets, please remember that this is a slip stitch and it doesn't count as a stitch, so you don't have to work into it. Now go ahead and end your work by slip stitching into that second chain that you did at the beginning. And now you can fasten off. I'm just going to chain one to make it extra secure. Cut, pull, and tighten. And that is going to be the base of your cookie. We're going to repeat those same exact steps to make the red filling. So you're going to go ahead and make a magic ring and chain 2. So that's chain 1 and that's chain 2. Now instead of inserting 13 double crochets inside the magic ring, you're going to insert 12. So yarn over, insert your hook, and insert 12 double crochets inside your magic ring. Once you've got 12 double crochets, you're going to pull the magic ring in closer, slip stitch into the second chain. So you've got your chain 1, chain 2, go into that chain 2, and slip stitch. So same exact steps as what we did for the base of the cookie. Now you're going to chain 2 to start the next round, and you're going to insert 2 double crochets into every stitch all the way around, and at the end of the second round you should have a total of 24 double crochets. So once again, you're only doing 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So that's 1, and in the same stitch you're going to do another. So 2 double crochets in every stitch all the way around. Once you're done, you're going to end your work the same way as before. So just slip stitch into that chain 2. Chain 1, and you can cut, pull, and tighten, and that will be the filling. So now you've got your 3 pieces, and to attach them together I'm going to be using a hot glue. So I'm going to turn this to the back, put some glue here. I'm going to glue the filling on top of the bottom of the cookie. Then I'm going to put some glue around the edge, and I'm going to glue this on like that, and then you will be all done. I went ahead and just attached the little key rings and the little keychain, and now my jam cookie is done. Please remember that if you don't have any of these materials, or if you're looking for these key rings, keychains, I have linked them on my Amazon storefront. Again, if you didn't watch the intro, please watch it because I do mention all the important bits that you need to know over there. To make the cherry, we're going to start off by making a magic ring. So take your yarn and wrap it around your fingers, making sort of like an X shape. Take your ring finger and hold on to the yarn like that. Take your hook, slide it under, grab onto the one at the end, pull it up and twist. Now use your ring finger to hold onto this piece of yarn, grab it with your hook, and slide it through, making a chain 1. Once you let go, you're going to have your magic ring. Now inside the magic ring, we have to insert 6 single crochets. So insert your hook into the magic ring, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through both the loops on your hook. Now since this is our first single crochet of round 1, you have to take your bobby pin or stitch marker and mark it. Now go ahead and insert 5 more single crochets inside the magic ring, so we have a total of 6. Pull your magic ring in tighter once you've got 6 single crochets. Now we're going to start round 2. Go ahead and insert your hook into that stitch where you've got your marker, and we're going to do our first single crochet of round 2. Now go ahead and mark this first single crochet. Our pattern for round 2 is going to be 2 single crochets in every stitch. So in that same stitch, insert your hook back through again, do another single crochet. Now we've got 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Go ahead and do this in every stitch. 2 single crochets in every stitch, and at the end of this round, you should have a total of 12 single crochets. For round 3, we're going to insert our hook into the marked stitch, and now you're just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch. Don't forget to mark the first stitch so you know where the round starts and ends from. Go ahead and do just 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around. We're going to do the same thing for round 4. Insert your hook into the marked stitch, do your first single crochet, put the marker back. Now do 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around, and at this point you can turn your work to this side. So that's what the outside of your cherry will look like. Go ahead and just do 1 single crochet in every stitch until you reach the end of round 4. Now we're going to close up the cherry. Please remember that I have written patterns for all of these bag charms in the description box on my blog. So if you open that up, you'll be able to see the written pattern and you won't have to keep referring back to this video when you make the second cherry or if you make more than one cherry. In the fifth and final round, we're going to do decreases. So to make an invisible decrease, you're going to insert your hook only through the front loop like that. So that's your back loop and this is your front loop. Only insert it through the front loop. Then insert your hook through the front loop of the next stitch, just like that. Yarn over, pull through both of those loops, and then yarn over and pull through the other two loops. One more time, you're going to insert it through the front loop, and then the other front loop. Yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, and don't forget to mark that very first decrease that you did. All right, now let's repeat this all the way around. It is going to be a bit hard, so just bear with me. And decrease. Before we close up the cherry completely, you're going to get your stuffing, and I want you to put the stuffing inside your little cherry. Once your cherry is all stuffed, we're going to close it up. So just remove your stitch marker, you don't need it anymore. We're going to slip stitch into the next few stitches, so just grab onto the front loops. Okay, this is going to be super hard to see. So you're just going to grab onto the front loop of the stitch that is closest to you, like that. Grab onto the front loop of the stitch that is next to the other one. And just slide the loop through all of the loops that are on your hook. Okay, and there you go. You should have closed up your cherry a little bit. As an extra step, I just like to go through and slip stitch through whatever stitch is closest to me, just to give it more of like that closed up look. And now when you're ready to fasten off, you're just going to chain two. Get your scissor, cut, pull, tighten it as much as you can. This is what the bottom of your cherry should look like. Now you can get your hook and you can just take this end and tuck it into your cherry to hide it. And there you've got your cute little cherry. Now with the yarn that you want to use for the stem, you're going to go ahead and make a slip knot, a regular slip knot, and then you're going to chain the length that you think would be appropriate for the bow. So I'm going to chain 45, and I'm going to make 2 of these. So I'm going to make 2 of these cherry balls, and I'm going to make 2 of these chains. I did 45 chains. Once you're done, you're just going to cut your yarn, pull and tighten all the way. A really tight knot over there. And now we're going to tuck this into our cherry. So I'm just going to make sure that it's super tight at the ends, and using my hook. Do you see that place where we had our magic ring? I am just going to tuck this. Going to push it in. I'm going to use a needle to do this. And there we go. Once my chains are also a little bit tucked in, here we go. It should be pretty secure since it is just a back charm. However, if you feel like it's not secure enough, you can always just put a little bit of glue on the inside and then tuck it in. So anything would work, but I haven't had any problems with my other cherry that I've been using for a bit, so I think this should be fine. On the other side, you're just going to cut. Now, once you've got your 2 cherries, here's how you can tie it into a bow. So just take something that you want to wrap it around. I'm just going to use my hook as an example and put it under like that. Bring these 2 ends to the front. Oops. Okay, and tie a knot. Once you've got your knot, you're just going to make a bow how you regularly would. And just adjust the bow to your liking. To make the little pouch, you can make it any size that you want. It's completely customizable. I want to make this big enough to fit my AirPods in. So when I start off by making my foundation chain, I'm going to make sure that it's as long as my AirPods case. And get started by making a slip knot. Here's how I like to do mine. I just wrap it around my fingers, hold on to it over there, and just pull this through. There are much easier ways of making a slip knot. That's just what I'm used to. Now you're going to go ahead and make your foundation chain, and you can chain any number that you like as long as it gives you the size that you want. So the chains make the width of your pouch. I did a total of 13 chains. Now you're going to skip that first chain, the one that's closest to your hook, and you're going to insert a single crochet into the second chain. That's your first single crochet. Now go ahead and insert one single crochet into every chain. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. That's a single crochet. In this very last chain, you're going to insert 3 single crochets. So do your first single crochet in the last chain, and then turn your work this way. So hold it like how I am. Now insert your second single crochet, and you can work over this end over here. Now you're going to hold your work this way. So we are turning our work to the other side. Now in that same chain where you did your first and second single crochet, you're going to insert your hook back through that same chain and do your third single crochet. Now instead of working on top of our previous stitches, we are going to be working at the bottom of the chains, so on the other side of the chains. I've used this technique in many of my projects, so if you're familiar with it, you can go ahead and continue. However, if you're not, don't worry, it's super easy to get the hang of. We already worked into this chain over here, so we're going to work into the next chain, and you're going to do 1 single crochet in every chain. And continue like normal, so insert your hook into the other side of the chain or the bottom of the chain and single crochet. Make sure you're only doing 1 single crochet in each chain space. Now, once you reach that last space over there where you've got your very first single crochet that you made, in that stitch or in that space over there, you're going to insert 2 single crochets, not just 1. So go into that space, do 1 single crochet, go into that same space and do another single crochet. So what's happening is now there are 3 single crochets in this end and 3 single crochets in this end over here. So that's how we make sort of like a round. Now we're just going to be inserting 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around. So you're going to go ahead and insert your hook into that first stitch like that, and then you're going to single crochet. Now insert your hook into the next stitch, single crochet, and repeat this all the way around. Some people like to put markers so that they know where they started their round from, but I don't do that because I just keep going round and round until I get the size that I want. However, if you want to be more precise and track how many rows you're doing, you can place a marker over here, and that would be 1 round when you reach back to that marker. So just go ahead and do 1 single crochet in every stitch. Once I reach the corner, I'm just going to turn my work this way and continue doing 1 single crochet in every stitch. It's best if you don't think about it too much. Just do 1 single crochet in every stitch and your work's going to do most of the work for you. So as you do 1 single crochet in every stitch, you're going to notice that your work is curling inwards like that, and that's completely normal. As you keep going round and round and round, doing 1 single crochet in every stitch, it's going to build the length for your pouch. And I'm going to show you what mine looks like after I do a few more single crochets all the way around. Please make sure that you're only doing 1 single crochet in every stitch. Especially when you reach the corners over here, sometimes you might accidentally do more than 1 single crochet. So just make sure that you're being careful and doing only 1 single crochet in every stitch. All right, so look at that. My work is building in length, and as I keep doing rounds, it's going to get longer and longer. So all you have to do is keep doing rounds until your work is as long as you want. I also like to just turn this inside out once I've done a few rounds, because I like how this side looks more than what the inside looks like. So same thing applies. You're just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around. You don't need to keep track of how many rows you're doing. Once you're done doing as many rounds as you want and you have the length that you want, so my AirPod can comfortably fit inside this, we're going to start making the flap. So I want you to start just at one corner of your work, which you want to be the width of the flap. I wouldn't recommend going all the way up, just do it halfway. So if you fold your work, you should stop right over here. Instead of going all the way around, we're gonna go and start making rows by going back. I'm gonna show you how. So this is where I ended my work. I'm just going to turn my work around, and in that same stitch, so my last stitch, I'm gonna insert my hook back through there. Look into that last stitch that I had done, and I'm going to make a single crochet. There we go. Now I'm just going to single crochet into each of the stitches until I reach the other corner. And this is how we're going to start making rows for the flap. So I'm just single crocheting into the stitches, inserting my hook, pulling a loop, and going through both the loops. Now that I've reached the corner, I'm going to stop and I'm going to turn my work again, insert my hook into that first stitch, the first single crochet, and I'm going to do another row of single crochets, just inserting one single crochet into every stitch. So as you can see, when we're doing rows, this will build some length and then we'll be able to close this flap over here. So keep doing rows until the length of the flap is what you want, and then I'm going to show you how to give your flap a little curved edge at the end. So I'm going to turn my work. Every time you want to start a new row, you just turn your work, insert your hook into that first single crochet, and just insert one single crochet into every stitch. So this is what I have so far, and now we're going to make the curved edge. So you're going to start a new row like normal by turning your work, and you're just going to skip the first single crochet and you're going to work into the second single crochet. And that's basically it. So you're going to get that curved edge when you skip that first single crochet, and then you continue single crocheting into all of the others. And let me just show you. So look at that curve over there. If you want a steeper curve, what you can do is you can skip 2 single crochets instead of just skipping the first one. So that would look something like this. You'd skip the first one and the second one, and you'd go into that third one really, really tightly because you don't want any holes. And then you're just going to single crochet into each of the other stitches. So that's what that would look like. You can decide whichever one you like the look of more. So if you skipped 1 in the beginning, then you're also going to skip 1 over here. I'm just going to show you how to do that. I skipped 2 in the beginning, so I'm going to skip 2 stitches here and very tightly single crochet into that last stitch. Oops. So very, 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 very tightly, just to make sure we don't have any holes in our work. And that's what that would look like. Now once you're done, we're going to bring this pink all the way down to this edge over here because we want to make the little chain that we will use to attach our AirPod case or pouch to any bag that we want. So basically the chain that will turn this into a bag charm. So you're going to slip stitch along the edge. So don't do this too tightly because remember, we're also going to be adding a border with a different color, which is optional. But if you're planning to do that, then just make sure that you don't make your slip stitches too tight. Insert your hook through the edge wherever you get space, pull up a loop, and slide that loop loosely through the loop that was on your hook. And you're just going to do this until you reach that corner that I showed you. And when you reach the end over here, just slip stitch there and slip stitch into the next stitch, and now you can stop. So this is what you'll have. Just ignore that, we're going to cover that with white. Once you've slip stitched to this end over here, now you're going to chain the length that you want for, well, the bag charm chain. So just go ahead and start chaining whatever length you want. I did around 50 chains, and now I'm ready to slip stitch back onto the other corner. So you're just going to take your little chain, insert your hook through a corner. So that's your flap, that's the corner. And then you're just going to slip stitch again. through the other loop. And there you go. Now you've got this little chain that you can use to attach it to your bag. Now when you want to fasten off your work, here's how I like to do it, but you can do it any way you like. I'm just going to chain 2 so that my fasten off is super secure. And I'm just going to cut my yarn, pull and tighten. Now you've got your little AirPod case or pouch or bag, whatever you want to call it. Next, with a different color yarn, I want to add a little border detail around the flap. So I'm going to take my hook and insert it through the edge over there. Get the yarn that I want to work with, make a little loop with it, and slide it through. Then I'm going to make a knot to secure this in place. Insert my hook back through that loop again, pull up a loop, and then I'm going to chain 1. So now I've attached my yarn. Now I'm going to insert my hook through the edges, and I'm just going to slip stitch. This is what's going to create that neat little border around my flap. Make sure that your slip stitches are not too tight. Try to keep an even tension. Insert your hook wherever you can, as close to the edge as possible, and work all the way around. Once you're done, just go into that corner stitch, slip stitch, and then fasten off like how I showed you previously. So just chain 2. It just started raining outside, so I'm so sorry for all the background noise going on right now. Cut your yarn, pull and tighten, and then you'll be all done with the border and the bag. Now go ahead and using a needle, you can weave this in, or you can just cut the yarn, or you can hide it however you want. Then I just cut a long string of yarn and I tied it into a bow, and using a glue gun, I'm just going to stick this over there. You can also just sew this on by putting a little stitch and then tying a knot at the back. Now another thing I wanted to talk to you about are these. These are called titch buttons. They basically have 2 sides. They have the front side, so that's one, and then they have a back side. And you can basically just sew these onto your case. So you can put one side here, so one side's going to be like this with a little hole, and the other side's going to be like that. I have linked these on my Amazon storefront if you want to purchase them, or if you don't have them at your nearby craft store. So the link is in the description box for that. But you basically just sew these on, and then you can open and close your little case. These are pretty handy to have, and if you're someone who makes a lot of crochet accessories, I would definitely recommend getting some of these. So here's how it works. You just place them and you can snap it closed. And when you want to open it, you just pop them open like that. We're going to start off by making a magic ring. If you've never done this before, just try to follow along. So you hold onto your yarn like this with the end facing downwards. Take your yarn and wrap it around your finger, making sort of like an X shape, and use your ring finger to hold onto the yarn like that. Now insert your hook through, grab onto the other yarn, pull it up, and twist it like that. Then use your finger to stretch this here, grab it, and pull it through. So that is going to be your chain 1. And let go, you've got your magic ring. Now inside this magic ring, we have to insert 6 single crochets. So you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through both loops. That is your first single crochet. And I would recommend getting a stitch marker or a bobby pin to just mark that first single crochet. Now go ahead and insert 5 more single crochets so that we have a total of 6 in our first round. That's the end of our first round. We're going to pull the magic ring in tighter. Now we're going to start our second round. You're going to insert your hook into that first single crochet that's marked. Remove your stitch marker and insert your first single crochet of round 2. We always mark the first single crochet of every round with the stitch markers so that we know where the rounds are starting and ending. Now in round 2, we have to insert 2 single crochets in every stitch. So in that first stitch, we already did 1 single crochet. So in that same stitch, insert your hook again and do another single crochet. So we should have 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Now go ahead and do this all the way around. So in every stitch, you have to insert 2 single crochets. At the end of this round, you should have a total of 12 single crochet stitches. So starting from that marked stitch till the last one, you should have a total of 12 stitches. Now we're going to start our third round. So go ahead and insert your first single crochet of round 3 in the single crochet that you marked. Remove your stitch marker. So that's 1 single crochet, your first stitch of round 3, and mark it again with a bobby pin. You always have to mark the first single crochet of every round. Now the pattern for round 3 is going to be 1 single crochet and then an increase. So we did 1 single crochet. Now in the next stitch, we're going to do an increase. An increase is just 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So do 1 single crochet, insert your hook back into that same stitch, and do another single crochet. That's an increase. Now you're going to repeat this all the way around. So 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch, an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. 1 single crochet, and then an increase. Now we're going to do our fourth round. Insert your hook, do 1 single crochet. That's the first single crochet of round 4, so we're going to mark it. Now our pattern for round 4 is going to be 2 single crochets and then an increase. So we did our first single crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to do our second single crochet. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do an increase. That means that we're going to do 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Repeat this all the way around. 1 single crochet, the second single crochet, and then an increase. Now for the next 5 rounds, so that means round 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch. We're not going to do any more increases. So that means that when you're starting round 5, you're just going to insert your hook. That's 1 single crochet. Since that's your first single crochet of round 5, you have to mark it. Don't forget to always mark the first stitch of every round so that you don't lose track of which round you're on. Now you just have to do 1 single crochet in every stitch. That's it. So no increases. You're just inserting your hook into every stitch, doing 1 single crochet all the way around. I'm done with round 5 and now I'm going to start round 6. So insert my hook into that marked stitch. I'm going to do my first single crochet of round 6 and mark it. Once again, I'm just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch. So no increases at all. Now I want you to repeat this for round 7, 8, and 9 as well. So just do 1 single crochet in every stitch. Don't forget to mark the first stitch of every round so you can keep track. You can also turn your work this way so you can start seeing your little head form. And just go ahead and insert 1 single crochet in every stitch. Now we're going to start decreasing the size of the head so that we can close it up. So instead of doing increases or just 1 single crochet, we're going to be doing invisible decreases. So for this next round, you're going to do 2 single crochets. So let's do our first single crochet and let's mark it with a stitch marker. And then let's do our second single crochet. So this is very similar to what we were doing for, I think, round 4 or 5. Now, instead of doing an increase, we're going to do an invisible decrease. So to do an invisible decrease, you're going to insert your hook through just the front loop of the stitch and then the front loop of the next stitch. Then you're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through the other 2 loops. That is an invisible decrease. Now you're going to continue this all the way around. So you're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 in each stitch. And then you're going to do an invisible decrease. So front loop, the next front loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Make sure to do these tightly and go all the way around. Before I continue to do the next decrease rounds, I like to embroider the face on. So I have a plastic needle and I've attached my yarn with a knot to it. I'm going to start by making the nose, and then you can position the eyes wherever you like. I'm just going to find the center right. I want the nose to be over here, so I'm going to insert my needle through where I want the nose to start from. Pull it up, and then go through where I want it to end. Since I don't want it to be thin, I'm going to go through the same place one more time, just so that the nose becomes a little bit thicker. So you basically just embroider it on by going in and out of wherever you want your facial expressions or parts of the face to be. So look, now the nose is a little bit thicker. And now I want to make the face, the happy face. I'm going to go right through the center, or as close to the center as I can find. Then I'm just going to go to where I want the mouth to be. And then I'm going to come back up and then go into the other side. For the next round, we're going to repeat a similar pattern. So instead of doing 2 single crochets and then an invisible decrease, we're going to do 1 single crochet and then an invisible decrease. And always remember to mark that first single crochet, and then to make an invisible decrease, just do the same thing. Go through the front loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and repeat this pattern all the way around. So 1 single crochet and then an invisible decrease. Now once you've also added your stuffing, you'll be ready to do your very last round. And in this round, we're not going to be doing any single crochets, we're just going to be doing only decreases. So just decrease all the way around. If you want, you can, sorry, my stitches are a bit loose now. If you want, you can mark the first decrease that you do so you know when you're at the end of your work. But yeah, so you're going to be doing 6 decreases and then you will be done with your last round. So remember, no single crochets, you're only doing invisible decreases. This is going to be super tricky, but just make sure you're keeping your decreases tight so we can close up our little head. To close it up for good, I'm just going to slip stitch around. So I'm just going to grab this end and this one, slip stitch it closed like that. Now you can adjust your work, make sure you have enough stuffing. And now we're going to fasten off our work, chain 2. And I'm going to get my scissor, cut, pull, tighten, and we're done with the head. Now to make the little hat, coverall, whatever it's called, to go on top of the bear's head, what you're going to do is repeat the same exact steps that we did for the head. So make a magic ring, do the same steps from round 1 to round 9. And then you can stop. So you've got round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I only did 8, but if you need it to be a little bit longer, you can do 9. So repeat the same exact steps. If you don't want to re-watch the video, you can go to the pattern that's linked in the description box and you can just follow that because it's the same exact thing. Once you've done that, what you're going to do is just take your head and poke it inside. Put it inside your little hat thing and adjust it as you want it to be. So just move it around, make sure that it sits wherever you want it to sit, because then we're going to secure it in place. So you won't be able to change the face's position afterwards. So just make sure you put it how you like it. And now I'm just going to slip stitch all the way around to tighten this part up. So we're just going to tighten the part that goes around the face. To do this, just go into every stitch and slip stitch. So for a slip stitch, you just insert your hook, take the loop and pull it through the loop that's already on your hook, and that's your slip stitch. And you can slip stitch tightly. I forgot to mark the very first slip stitch I did, so just make sure to mark it so that you know when you come all the way around. You just have to do 1 tight slip stitch in every stitch just so that this part tightens inwards and that the head doesn't fall off. Once you're done, we're just going to fasten our work off. So to fasten off, you're just going to chain 1 or 2, like how you fastened off previously. Get your scissor, cut, pull, and tighten, and you will be all done. You can remove your stitch marker, and you can just tuck this inside to hide it. Now I'm going to show you how to make this tiny little ear to go on top of your bear. So you can start off with a magic ring, but because I'm using fluffy yarn, it doesn't do that well with a magic ring. So I'm just going to make a slip knot and chain 3. Then I'm just going to slip stitch into the first chain. So that's 3, 2, 1. That's my first chain. I'm going to insert my hook into it and make a slip stitch. So there I've got like a fake magic ring, sort of. I'm going to just chain 1. And now I'm going to insert my hook into the middle of the chain. So in between the little circle that the chains will make. I know it's super hard to see with fluffy yarn, but if you're using regular yarn, just make a magic ring and insert 6 single crochets into that magic ring. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to insert 6 single crochets into the middle of my chains. So in the middle of the circle that my chains have formed. Then to end your work, just slip stitch into the next stitch and get your scissor and cut. I'm going to be using the same yarn to basically attach my ear onto the head. That's why I left a pretty long end. And I'm just going to squeeze this in a little bit. Now I'm going to show you how to make this optional step over here. I think it just makes it look more like a bear's ear when I put it on, which is why I'm doing this. However, you don't have to. So if you don't do that, this is what it'll look like. So there's barely a difference. I just like how the other side looks more. We're just going to start off by making a magic ring. I'm using a different kind of yarn for this, and I've chained 1. Now I'm going to insert 4 single crochets into the magic ring. 1, 2, 4. And I'm just going to pull this really tightly. And that's basically it. There you go. Then I'm going to fasten off by chaining 2, getting my scissor, cut, pull, and tighten it really, really well. And you should have that little half a circle shape that we're going to put onto the ear. And I'm just going to sew this on. So I'm going to use my needle and the thread that I left to basically attach it onto the ear. Now you've got your 2 ears. Just sew them on top of the head. I don't generally show the sewing parts in my video, but just like how you embroidered the face, you're just going to go up and down and attach the ears onto wherever you want them on the head. I went ahead and I attached my keyring and my chains, and then I tied a little bow around it just with some extra yarn that I had left over, and we are all done. Please keep in mind that I have linked all of these materials, these keyrings, these chains over here on my Amazon storefront, and the link is in the description box.